What does this mean? Another $267 billion of Chinese tariffs ready to go? I mean, we're discussing it with David earlier, but this will take time. We're just not even done with the 200.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there's an important big macro point to make here, and that is that it would take essentially the amount of imports covered to the totality of U.S. imports from China. We've been talking about hitting all of the trade with China there. This would be a huge escalation of things. We are in the final stages. We're hearing that over at the White House, over at the U.S. Trade Representative's office, they're working through the kind of final stages of nailing down the specifics of what they want to do with the $200 billion tranche that we've all been waiting for. We know that the president is eager to go ahead with those as soon as possible, but he's really dropped this bombshell on Air Force One today, saying that there's another $267 billion to go further. So, I mean, that is not going to help things.
Yeah, and Shawn, we always want to be precise. It's not $200 billion or $267 billion in tariffs. It's tariffs on that worth of goods. They're talking about something like 25%. So go back to the $200 billion worth of goods. What's taken them so long? You said they're working hard over the White House. This has been pending for some time. They've had a long time to sort of get these put together.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons they're going through this quite deliberately is there is some concern in the administration that these tariffs could be the subject of a legal challenge from possibly the private sector, from companies that are affected by these. So they want to make sure that they are kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's on this and going through a public comment period, that they're considering all of those public comment periods, that they at the very least appear to be doing this not rashly, but as part of a deliberate process.
The president saying also that those tariffs on $200 billion of goods could be soon, depending on what happens. So far, consumers here in the U.S. have been shielded from the effects of rising prices because of the list of those Chinese imports, the list of items that those imports included. What does the $200 billion include right now, and how challenging will it be to minimize the harm to U.S. consumers?
So incredibly challenging. There's no doubt that if the administration goes ahead with the $200 billion, that we're going to see much more of an impact on consumers. We're already talking in that list of products. There's some 6,000 products about things like bicycles, many of which come from China, and bicycle parts. It was amazing over 6 days of hearings last month to see just a procession of small, medium, and even larger businesses come through and say this was going to have a severe impact on their business, and it was going to force them either to lay off folks or to raise prices, or in some cases to shut down their business. But if you take it to the next level, and that's really what the president seems to be talking about here, you're going to start hitting things that they have avoided so far, and that would be smartphones, which account for a huge portion of the trade with China, laptops, televisions. These are all places that the administration did not want to go initially. They were trying very hard to keep this away from hitting consumers. Obviously, there's an election coming up. But if you're going to go for the whole hog, you're going to have to hit the consumers.